Hello, this is Gerald-Johan Vanoise. Let me demonstrate some words that express things like more or even less, and that you can recognize this already in the letter combinations, or it is directing you into a point that is having the references that it is meant to be. Everybody knows, of course, like when the sound is high or low or somewhere here, or when something is opening up, even or these basic things everybody understands. But if it comes to combining the references of the letters, that's another matter. But you can learn to see what is exactly unconsciously already combined and make sense also. And even in words like more or less, these things can be recognized, how this directs us into these positions that we need. And I will compare it, because the word with a double S there, will compare some other words with a double S, like los, mes, mos. Let's go. What makes me realize which letter is referring to what kind of thing? It is a position. Every letter is a position, and you will see here the whole world here. We are trying to find an objective in the things that are probably or hopefully most of the time very close by, that we can use them immediately, that we feel them physically, that we are very objective also with our objective, that we can do something with it. It's not always the case, so some things are, a bit further away, they're evolving, they're changing. Okay, we need some time for it, and these things are a bit further away. What is really very far away is, let's say, it's more about the general context. So we have 3 times 3 positions that we can use, like in the 3 dimensions, 3 dimensions of its own in every region of that we see there. Also with horizontal, vertical, diagonal, diagonal, there is a geometrical association there, but there's also a growth process there, 1, 2, 3, and there is also a way to adapt, and how we adapt to these changes. And that's the way how we think in it, and there's a very, very clear simplicity in it. And it goes from the one region of 3 dimensions in space, another region of 3 dimensions associated with time, and another region with 3 dimensions that all put back the order into the right context in space and time during a space and time continuation. So that's basically the theory. So we have, of course, now you don't see all the letters, but you see the letters at the right positions. So you have here a square with 9 positions. The M is at that 3rd position. The 3rd position is about. So you also have these 3 positions of center position. Area, or where everything is actually filling up, and then the borders or the limits. And that's the way to think also. You start from a center, you start to build up further, or you go towards its limits. With the M, it's in this physical world, we are showing you with the expansion that it is actually enlarging itself with its material. It's in the 2nd degree. Also, it's about material. It's in the middle part where everything is forming. So it is at the edge of where everything is forming. So it is also at the limits of what is going to form there. So there's so much forming there, so that it is also materializing more and more and more. That's the M, and it's already a very good. Fitting word there. The O is then, that's in the next space. It's outside our physical borders. It's in the environmental space. It's in the time aspect related space. O is about what I also add to my personal space of the extras that I can have there. It's in my environment. I have the O, it's in my environment, so I take the extras there. The R, that's in the last category, is the last category is always less clear, of course, than the first category. The first category is about very clear objects that I define it as one. The last category is defined as with elements that are also having some infinite starting points or endings. So in that way, they are somewhat in between. We can't pinpoint them as exact spaces. We can't pinpoint them as exact timings. So, but because it's so far away, but we estimated that it comes from somewhere vague, goes to somewhere vague, and the R in it as the match there, which is in the formation process. The second one is what is forming there with these kinds of fluctuations, and connects there. It connects there to what can make a change. That is the R. And the last letter is the A. It is back in time. It is what I can do during a certain time. So how can we translate this into a word? I will do that in a moment. So I will start from the extending of material, M. I'll go to O, extend this further into the environment. And I connect also it to elements that I can't really measure very well. So it is a bit vague to what it really is connecting. So in a way I can say it is growing. I know that it's growing in the environment, but how far it goes from where to where, what is it exactly? It's a question mark in a way. It is connecting, but we don't know yet to what it is connecting. But the last letter gives us the solution where we will find that question, or we will put that question, because more is in fact also, in a way it is a question, it's not filled in already. So what do we fill in? The last letter is an E. So the E is during a certain time. So what is more? It is, of course, that temporal moment in the end of what was an extension of material, what I have now connected, what I made a connection to in a certain small lifespan. So in a way, I'm saying with more, what is actually getting more with material, and that I connected there in that small time frame and can know what it is. So that's actually the description of more. Different will be with less, of course. Now, what is less? Less is with a different letter that it starts with. It starts with the L, and the L is there in the middle of that first physical scheme. So it's about the physicality. I'm trying to grasp the physicality. It's the material itself that is forming there. It's all in the middle. It's in the neutral middle. It is the forming material itself. And you see, that's what I'm focusing about. In this case, it's not growing, or the focus is not growing or getting more, but it is material that is forming. Very neutral, very focused upon trying to distinguish, in this case, the subject of the formation. The E is the next frame. It says also, where do I follow it up? I follow it up in a certain time frame, during a certain time. And what's the last couple of letters? Because there are two letters. The last letter is, it is connecting again to something I don't see well where it comes from, where it goes to. But I find the general context there, and it's the context with a diagonal at the end. So it means that with the after effect that I can follow up, I can try to follow up what's going on there. But it's a double S, and that's a bit strange. So it is a follow up of the effect, and then the effect of the effect. So it's almost like the after effect then as well. So so the remains. It's almost like I'm focusing upon the remains. So here I have this focus of the S. which is a combination of the formation in general, and formation actually you can in as letters we had the M before, which was the maximized form. In a way, you have in the middle there, you have three letters. We have the T, which is the first focus on the material, which is nothing more than the spatial reference. If I focus on it more, so I have it a number 2 now, then I see the formation process. If I am focusing in even more at the limit, there is it, and I'm having the number 3 also. The material has been extended. Now it is a neutral part. It is the formation process. Basically, L and A is a formation process in development, in a time development. How much do I see with the le? That's what le actually is already saying. So how much do I have here? It's a very basic seeing what is formed here, and I see what has been formed here. Le is also used in certain languages, by the way, but that's another matter. And now we go to the S and the S, and it's a double S. So how much effect will this have, this formation in during a certain time? And then the effect of the effect. So the effect of the effect is, of course, it's the least part, it's the smallest part. I always have no other option than seeing it like that. And if I enlarge it a little bit so that I can see what I have here, it's this formation. It says during a certain time development, and then the effect, and then the after effect of it. And in that way, in fact, less is also pronouncing, let's say, or emphasizing on what do I really have from what is forming at the end, or what is really left from it. It's going for the leftovers of this formation process, and the leftovers or the lesser parts. It's not exactly the same, but the focus is going into the right direction. So I still see it as okay, not as a proof, but I see it as a very good example of where your focus is going to with these double S's. But I can understand that you still will be skeptical with these double S. So how do you know it's always bigger and smaller? In this case, the effect of the effect, I didn't have much more choice to think about it differently. How big is the effect of the effect? It's very small, I would say. It's always very small. It's the after effect. But okay, let's go to other words that we will see. How will the double S be seen there? And I will take some words, okay? I will go with the M, the enlarging, and then with the double S, and there are a few words with that. They have moss and mess. Okay, we'll take these two words. Okay, let's go. Moss. I did them once before, but I will do them a bit better. So moss. So I have here the M is this enlarging of it's in fact enlarging of the physical, of the physicality that is growing there, and in that region, of course, there will be added something extra, the O, which is the environment which is included. So mo will include the environment in its own enlargement process, and in the end, the S will be the outer effects. So I will continue this M and O, this environment, and I will take the full space of fluctuations that I have there. So that's the space. I will focus upon it in the effect and the after effects. What I know now already, we know already that moss is also about the physical growing after effect in the environment. So we know that. We know it is already describing in the letters. But the only thing is, what is left is, how shall we express it that it fits with the letters? So I have here the regions where it happens. And of course there's this grow, while also keeping a space or the orientation open. It will have a physical growth with with the space that you can still feel. So how do I express it? I express it like this. It's very easy then if I do that. So I can feel it, I can sense it physically, and physically in the fluctuations there at the end. That's a more or less description of moss then. Instead of moss, we could also, of course, describe mousse, also this getting larger, but instead of just the environment, the oo is a combination of then with the o and the oo and the u. And how do we express that? The u is actually also the choice between two worlds, the world which is not and the world which I choose because it's mostly forming. So there are empty spaces in there. So with mousse, you can imagine it that the moss is already, you can sense that is all on top of an environment, the physicality on top of the environment. You have that with mousse as well, but with mousse, it's even more spaces in between these. With you, it means there are empty spaces also and filled in spaces. And this whole structure of combination is a combination, and if you start to combine it, it becomes a mixture, which is a bit confusing at the end as well. But that's also how it is expressed. The S is always, it is a bit confusing that you can't pinpoint the literal positions in time, the literal positions in space. It's a mixture, it's a whole mixture, and that's what in the moss is already, but you can sense it, you can follow it like you follow things at far, just give it your attention, and you can follow it with mousse as well. You can follow it because you sense the complete picture. So with moss, it's of course it was the same thing. We can follow it by sensing it. We sense it with the strangeness and the confusion at the end, and we have a quite nice combination of that. A different word instead of moss is mess. Mess is sideways. I must admit I exaggerate a little bit that it is going sideways. It is actually going up, but it's going up to the side. Okay, but that's a very literal in-between zone, but okay, it's good enough, it's clear enough what it is. It's the M is growing. The E goes to a different direction than with the O. The O, it's going up, and you have the whole range of the environment. The E, no, it's different. The extension is there, but the extension goes sideways, and we know we'll have double S. So this double S will be will extend actually the growing part of the M. And how do I express it? I can only see it well when I also express it with the last effect and then the effect on it. So we have the M material growth, the E in a certain time. So this growth will continue a certain period. And then with the effect, and then with the effect of the effect. How will the mess look like then? So I will have with this growth in different directions, in different, but still in one direction of time, of growth, of continuation. I have one of them, and then with the second S, I have the same thing once more, and it of course it confuses it because it's added once more. You have a double S added, and you see here because of the E, this energy grows further. This exaggerates the things, and you have a mess in the end. I always see it like it's like spoiling blood or getting a mess somewhere. It is, I think that expresses it quite well, this idea what the mess is about. So I hope with the combinations of letters of more or less, and then moss, and then even mousse, and then mess, that it becomes a bit clear how letters combine and how they mix with each other, and they go from one region to another. Of course, we don't do that very consciously, but as I told you before, everybody knows that is sensing. Is also sensing, but it's with an alertness, beep 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 over there, with the oh yeah, it is growing quite nicely. With it's going, it's a bit longer in time, and we spread it into this frame that and associate the things in it quite differently. So I hope this video also was a contribution to sense better what the letters are about and how they combine. Thanks for watching. There's a larger list of words in that short URL there, and you can, from previously recorded videos, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel for more instructions and more demonstrations soon. Thanks again, bye.